Now, on to superheroes. Hello and welcome to the Quackcast. This is the Drunkduck Quackcast. I'm Ozone Ocean and with me is Tanserine.
Hello.
Hi, Tans. No Pitface or Baines at the moment because they're off gambling around the world doing their own things. Unfortunately, they've been let off the leash. Pit unleashed, that's not something you want to see. Even less Baines. This is our Quackcast number 591. We're going to be talking about different types of superheroes because our Quackcast last week on superhero movies was quite popular, so I thought, let's go deeper into this subject. What else can we drag out of this? Plus, it's comic related, and we often go too far off the off our kind of our patch, don't we? We go all the way out and around the place, and we sort of deviate a long way from comics. So I thought, let's just bring us down to comics again for a little while and see how we go. Different types of superheroes. But before we get into that, we have to introduce the featured comic. And the featured comic this week, oh my god, this is a bit of synchronicity here. The featured comic I did this week was about a superhero. A whole bunch of superheroes initially. So, here we go. Me talking about a superhero comic called Gold Star of Wishes and Miracles. Hello, I'm Ozone Ocean, and my feature for the week was Gold Star of Wishes and Miracles. Emily Thompson is a college student, but also a superhero with incredible powers. We get to see what she can do in the awesome prologue to Gold Star of Wishes and Miracles, as she competes in a battle royale for her very life on a strange alien planet against a bizarre selection of superpowered beings like herself. It's pretty exciting stuff. Gold Star is an interesting character, very forthright and straightforward, which is a nice way of saying she swears as often and creatively as Cheryl and Pam from Archer combined. If you know that reference, well, you're a great person. The whole project is part of the DU, also known as Deviant Universe. It's a bit like the Marvel Universe, but made up from characters created by artists in a deviant art community. The prologue story comes from an event from the DU, and the characters Gold Star fights are from other artists who also contribute to the DU. This is a superhero comic with sci-fi, drama, and quite a bit of comedy, all full-colour digital art. So yes, this is a great little comic. It's by The Victor, which is just a fantastic little name. The prologue is full of action, and it really showcases the character, Gold Star, in her superhero mode, showing everything that she can do as a superhero, especially in a very martial, fighting sort of role, which is always the most fun part you see of superheroes. And the clever ways she tricks and beats her opponents with great creativity. The rest of the comic tends to show us the other side of Gold Star, which is her human persona, Emily Thompson, or human secret identity, I suppose you'd say, rather than persona. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this, have a look at it, and have a read. So yes, a comic by The Victor, and it's rated T for teen. And that was the feature, Gold Star of Wishes and Miracles. Such a long title. Okay, so next up is the featured music. Gumwells has given us a lovely theme. It's given us a theme to the comic Shadowborn, which was another comic I featured the other day, a couple of weeks ago. Shadowborn. So this music, low sun glinting through gaps in the slow-moving silhouette of a freight train shuffling past into the clittery, clattery distance, losing itself in evening twilight shadows as day sinks away into night. This is a soundscape of shadow, winter and darkness, rendered with atmospheric, rhythmic, layered synth sounds. So take it away, Gum Wallace, with the theme to Shadowborn. Was the featured music. Thank you so much for that, Gum Wallace. That was a Shadowborn is of course a comic by Gunpowder Rum, very piratey name, and it's rated T for teen. Okay, so now we're on to the Quackcast proper. We're talking about types of superheroes. So we already did this in our little Patreon video, and it was quite funny at times.
Yeah.
So you should definitely like contribute and become a patron and help support the site so we can get all the changes made, because you get to see us making fools of ourselves on video.
Yay! And you are contributing to a great cause so that,
Exactly.
everything works out.
Yes, exactly. And the site will look really cool and modern, like it should have done ages ago. But we're not talking about that at the moment. We're talking about different types of superheroes. So you'll notice, like, if you ever watch any kind of superhero show, especially when there's a group of superheroes, you think, hang on, so these are DC superheroes. There's a whole bunch of these, but there's equivalent ones in Marvel, and there's equivalent ones in The Boys. And then there's like subgroups within, like, say, Marvel. So we've got the X-Men and other kind of groups. So, in DC they have Suicide Squad and Super Friends. I don't know, whatever. But they Justice League. That's it. But they have subgroups that also they mirror the powers of the main groups, even though they're part of like DC. So they have a group of, like, the X-Men have all kinds of bunch of powers as, these other things. Anyway, so Tans, what were you going to say?
I was going to argue that there are even comics. I don't know if they are, of course, Marvel or DC, and feel free to laugh at my ignorance on that. But there are even series of comics with main characters that technically wouldn't be considered necessarily superheroes, but they are. superheroes because they do have larger than life capabilities. So, for example,
Right.
take the mask.
Yeah, well, we can talk about them as types. So
Yeah,
the mask. The mask is interesting. What kind of... Okay, so the mask is a superhero who's augmented by a magical power. So he has a spiritual device. So would be in the same category as maybe a similar category, say maybe the Ghost Rider. I don't know. The Ghost Rider is okay. The Ghost Rider is supernatural, so that would be the supernatural category.
yeah, I would say because they become like the mask becomes the mask using the magical item
Hmm.
that comes from a god. So, like the Thor impersonation that we talked about in
The
not
Patreon
the
video.
person, the Avatar, Thor Avatar. Like,
Hmm.
that is basically this human guy that channels this god. Um, does it? I read now in Google. Google told me that does it through the help of a magical cane. So that would be similar. So that is a superhero trait. Like you have this magical item and turns a like a typical human being into a superhero. Or, for
Okay.
example, the word Shazam. You have to say
Hmm.
Shazam.
To activate the ring, yeah, Billy Batson, the original
Yeah,
Captain Marvel.
exactly. So you do have this category of heroes that become heroes thanks to this magical item, and
Green Lantern,
perhaps
then
that's the other one as well. Yeah, absolutely. So
they transform and they have magic. So not Wonder Woman. So she transforms at least in like the early comics and also the early TV series. But she is always Wonder Woman, I think. She doesn't need to transform to be Wonder Woman. But you mean the
yeah,
ones that actually need to transform.
yeah.
Yeah.
She is immortal basically. I think she goes in the god category.
Yeah, she's definitely one of the gods. So that's an interesting category. The transforming superheroes that use a device. Or not necessarily a device, no. They use a magical item, pretty much.
Yeah,
Magical items. Because the ones who use devices, they're a different category again. Scientific
yeah,
devices.
yeah, absolutely. And they usually have also like storylines, the type of my magical thing is missing. Someone stole it. Someone has deactivated it. Someone like whatever eliminates access to this magical device, magical item that does the transformation. So they all have at least one arc like this.
Yeah. They
So
can't say they can't say Shazam because their mouth is covered and activate the magical
yeah,
item. Someone else takes
exactly.
the magical item and uses it and becomes them.
The evil name, whatever it is, like
Yeah.
the evil uh, Green Lantern, or what have you. So
For the Green Lantern though, they have to be good. So they have the evil Green Lantern
yeah,
is
I just couldn't
yellow
think of
one.
anyone right
Yeah.
now.
I know what you mean.
So yeah,
I think with Shazam he had that kind of thing happening. Um that's a pretty cool one. Okay, what about Supernatural? So Ghost Rider is supernatural. There must be a few other kind of ghosts kind of powered ones. I don't know them, unfortunately. So I'm just throwing it
supernatural
out there.
ones.
Supernatural, like they're
Let's
kind
ask Google.
of cheat. I'm not
Not
saying
a
you're
cheat
bad
if
for doing
you.
that. You're intelligent for
It's
doing that.
it's not a cheat if you say how you are doing it.
Yeah. Either way, It's smart.
Okay, Ghost Rider, Brother Voodoo, Blade, Mephisto, Werewolf by Night, Scarlet Witch, Hannibal King, yada yada. So you do have quite a bunch.
I'd say Scarlet Witch would be, rather than supernatural per se, or maybe she's a double category, I'd say she's a magic user.
Yeah. I don't really know her, so I don't know how she uses the magic. Because I think the whole supernatural element is that, you basically, it's it touches on the necromantic thing. Like they go into the deadly occult, do the magic stuff. So that's why they're supernatural, I suppose. So.
But okay, in the magic user, we do have Doctor Strange, like one of the originals, Zatanna. She's like top hat, and she was a leotard and a little bow tie and tailcoat, like a magician.
Yeah. Oh, what's the guy with the deck of cards that he tosses around?
Oh, he's not magic. That's an X-Men character.
Oh, okay.
He puts like a power on cards and uses them as bombs to hit things. Okay. And he can do that in any item, but he uses cards because it's his whole shtick. And he has a stick, and I can't remember his name.
Okay, I'll ask Google again. He's the next one you said. With deck of cards.
Yeah, what the hell is his name? I always think he looked really cool.
Yeah, with X-Man who tosses cards.
X-Man.
Gambit.
Yeah.
He uses kinetic energy. He said. Okay, so basically he's like a telekinetic guy.
Yeah.
I guess.
Now that's an interesting thing. Okay, so the mutant superheroes is a subcategory. So the mutants are kind of people, normal humans who, like, they've got some kind of like strange genetic mutation that has transformed them in order to make them into superheroes. So this is something that any human can get without magical devices, without god powers. They just have this mutant transformation, so it offers like the possibility that real human beings could become superheroes just with one mutated gene. Like it's total fantasy, but it sort of, that was how it was really it's a selling point.
Well, yeah, because like for example, I think I overthink things, so I'm that kind of killjoy with certain things. So, like for example, take Angel, who is supposedly this mutant with wings. That would take a lot more than just a mutation, because we are talking about not just a different species. He has 6 frigging limbs. He's an insect.
6 limbs. He'd have to have hollow bones, huge amount of muscles in his chest to propel those things.
And it cannot be done, my dude.
Yeah.
It's like you cannot mutate that much and still like over a generation.
Yeah.
I would consider it over like a million years, maybe. So.
That wouldn't be a mutation so much as like a grafting or something onto the body, and it's but it wouldn't offer you any superpowers either. Having wings,
you could fly, I guess.
But to make a human fly, and just making them look like a human, but just adding wings and making them fly, would make them super weak except for their chest. So they'd be pointless for anything except maybe carrying light objects.
Maybe that's why we did not evolve wings, I guess. I don't know if I would make a human fly, I would do it. I mean, I have technically done it in my fantasy novel, but they do not have six limbs. They still have four.
They're more
Um,
Icarus, are they, with the
well,
wings
Icarus
stuck on their
technically had
arms?
six limbs because he had the wings stuck on his back.
I thought he
Um,
attached them to his arms.
oh, did he? I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Well, I
If
mean,
if so, yeah, then
Daedalus
yes,
did.
More Icarus style in the sense that, and more like a flying, like a fantasy flying squirrel sort of situation. Like they have this, the wings are like they fan out under your arms and they project as well so that you can get the length that you would need
Yeah.
to glide, and then fantasy comes in and they can actually fly with these contraptions. So there's that.
Well, you could definitely do it if you increase the density of the air, or if the air was really
Mm.
hot. There, there could be tricks. If you could do that, then you could fly as a human with human muscles with those enhanced kind of contraptions that you're talking about, like a bird.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's how like these guys they are a society, like a very militaristic society, and their wizards basically are the ones that can fly using these contraptions and magic. So
Hmm. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, like you could use your magic to just increase air density, and there you
mhm.
go. That would be a pretty cool ability. I like it.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah,
Reduce
because I
gravity.
like
That could help.
to be able to answer some questions for killjoys like myself. So that's how I build my fantasy in
So
general.
maybe
So,
that is Archangel's power. What he really does, the wings are only there just as to maneuver. What he really does is his brain. He increases air density, reduces gravity, and
yeah.
that gives him the ability to fly wherever he wants.
He does not, because if he did, he wouldn't have all these stories where he cuts off his wings or
Yeah.
tries to because he's depressed and stuff like that. So,
Oh dear, I think that all plays into that whole angel kind of stuff, as if wings are a big part of angels. But I mean, with angels, they tended to have many wings when they had them. So yeah, we're getting off
yeah.
subject here.
We should have a cast about angels in all mythologies, like from the most ancient ones and including Christian lore. I mean, I believe it. I believe I'm a Christian,
Fair
but
enough.
for others it is a mythology. So we could talk about that as well. So that
That
would be really interesting, as a matter of fact.
could be a cool subject because there's a lot of angel stuff. You know, they've all got cool names. I mean, the
Hmm.
Christian, Judaic kind of ones have groovy names, and
Yeah,
the demons, you know, are kind of like
yeah, and they don't look
pure
like
angels.
the really powerful ones do not have wings at all. So
I like all the different versions, although I really like the Renaissance painting versions of them. Though I think those are really cool. You know, with their humans in armor and stuff. It's just
yeah,
there's a groovy
yeah, that's always awesome. I really
Gabriel
love
and Michael. They're
I
cool.
love the archangels. They are awesome. So,
Big faves. But we're talking about the superheroes. So
yes.
there could be angels, actual angel superheroes, but I'm not
Mhm.
aware of any, so I can't get into that.
Google. Tell me.
Google. Google it. I've got a huge
Okay.
book on superheroes somewhere here, like a massive list of all of them from everywhere, but I don't know where it is.
Okay. So let's see. Apparently, there are angels that are also superheroes.
Let me guess. The
There you
main
go.
ones, Michael and Gabriel, for a start.
There are lots. There are lots that end in L. Abdiel, Ahiriel, Amenadiel. I
Oh,
don't
they're
know
the
these people.
obscure ones.
Oh, okay. Here's one. Azazel.
Now,
That's
Azazel's meant to be a demon.
yeah. Here it is an angel. He's an angel. Um, Ezekiel. There you go. So there are a lot of ones ending, with a typical L suffix.
That
And
comes from
these all of these guys are
Hebrew,
superhero.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. There's another guy called Afterlife. He's also an angel, and he's in Doctor Strange apparently.
There we go.
Yeah.
Interesting. So angels are another subtype.
Yeah.
But more
And
obscure.
this guy is Stephen Loss. He apparently is a demon. Oh, he's the son of Satan. No, sorry. He is the enemy of the son of Satan. So how is he a villain? I don't get it. Anyway,
Oh dear.
he's the enemy of all demons, demon worshippers, blah blah blah.
I don't know, because demons are often good in pop culture. I don't know, things get twisted all the time.
Okay. Anyway, I don't know. He confuses me, but he's an angelic character apparently. So there you have it.
In pop culture, angels are often evil. That's just how it is.
Okay. Yeah, because a demon isn't cool enough to be a villain. I mean, yeah, there's nothing cool about, nothing evil about demons that are like the epitome of evil and take all sorts of forms and have this immense capacity of being villains and villainous characters and be really cool with it. But yeah, sure, go get the angels.
I think it's a way of adding a twist, a really dumb kind of juvenile twist. Like, you thought they were good? No, they're bad. Haha. Oh God, really? Another one?
Okay.
Is this like the 5
Yeah.
millionth and 32nd thousandth?
It was already done. I think it was already done in the Bible, guys. Like the angel that was evil fell, an evil angel.
Oh yeah, but the twist on that is like that he was really good, even though he.
Then the other ones fell.
And
same thing.
Jeez.
It's a 50-50 thing. Whoever is evil is the one that falls, even if the single one is the good one. All the other ones have fallen. So you have the same thing. It's the same situation.
It'll never change that chance. The current pop culture is like, yeah, they love it. All right, so you did bring up one at the very beginning. Humans that are would not be superheroes because they haven't really got superpowers, but they're still considered superheroes because of the world they're in. And Judge Dredd is like the main one of that.
Yeah,
and he is like a superhero because I think maybe he does have some abilities. Like, I don't know, like he is. I think his ability from the world he comes from that is incredibly corrupt. He's incorruptible, so that becomes like a magical ability.
Yes. But it's not really magical. It's just that he is the untouchable of his world in a sense. I think the superpower is that he's basically a tank. Like he keeps on coming, and there is nothing that dissuades him from keeping on coming.
yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, another one is John Wick. Because
he comes from a comic, you're right.
Yeah, he's a super assassin. He's perfect with guns, and he also is like he's called the Baba Yaga, isn't he?
Yeah.
So that he's the boogeyman. He is magical, basically.
He's That's a good example. Strontium Dog. I only know him because he was like done by the same people who did Judge Dredd, so he comes from the same universe as Judge Dredd. One that Pitface really likes.
Lobo.
Lobo. Thanks, Tansy. You're always there. Lobo. That's the one. So he's another one of these kind of people. Tank Girl.
Mm-hmm.
She's definitely another
Lobo,
one.
though, I think Lobo is a supernatural being. I don't think he's just a human.
I thought he was like an alien.
Well, yeah, but he exists in space and he's fine.
I think maybe that's because of his alien abilities. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he's got like supernatural powers so much as just being from some race, because he's like a bounty hunter or something. He's a badass.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, how about the Punisher?
Yeah, Punisher definitely is included in that lot. Just, he's got guns. I mean, you could say like he's like a Batman in a way, in that, you know, he's a human and he's got devices, but they're guns. They're not really magical. They're not really clever devices. He's just got guns. He wouldn't be a superhero in any other.
Lots of guns.
Anyone can have guns, but yeah, he's got the determination to be superhero. And there are some others like, I don't know. No, I was going to include Deadshot and other characters like that who have guns.
I think they are magical in the sharpshooting thing. Like they are beyond human.
Yeah.
The other guys are pushing the limits of what is human, I think.
Yeah.
The way they are portrayed. So.
For sure. You are correct. Yeah, so we got mutants, angels, humans with tech, and what were those other ones? Humans who are kind of just, how would we call that? Just humans. Humans who's
plain flavor.
Plain flavor. They've got plot armor.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Or it's basically their context. Contextual heroes.
Yeah, and you have the ones with the one ability, and then they have to complement it with skill and talent. You know, like Spider-Man. So
Spider-Man's interesting. He has a whole host of weird abilities. Like, he has super strength. He has like, he can cling to walls for whatever reason.
Yeah,
like, that's not a spider
but
power.
He has spider powers, but he cannot shoot webbing. He has to make that.
In some versions he does, though. Like, there are...
Yeah, but only the movie versions, I think, and a couple of gross ones where he basically turns into a spider, like the Fly.
Yeah. Okay, so he does augment his abilities somewhat with
like the classic Spider-Man. He's a geek. He's a science geek. He's in STEM, real deep, and he makes the serum that creates the webbing. So,
but he has 3 abilities. Then he can cling to walls. He's got super strength, and he has a spider sense, so he can detect danger in some way. Some kind of telepathic ability.
He can tell that danger is coming, but he cannot tell what the danger is. He has to look around, basically.
But you're right. He has a set of powers, but he augments them with other things in order to make them better. So he's a really cool kind of example. I like that. I don't know. There must be other ones that do that. I think a lot of the X-Men do that, actually. Like, so Wolverine, his special power is that he can heal from anything. And he has the bone spurs. Yeah. They implanted the adamantium skeleton, which is a whole new, different thing from his healing stuff. It's just the magical healing ability enabled him to be able to have such a horrible thing done to his body. And the adamantium.
And Xavier has this whole room where he enhances his telepathy so that he can do a lot of telepathic feats that he wouldn't be able to do without the device that he puts on his head.
Yeah, he augments that. He's another man that uses devices. Then there's I don't know too much about the X-Men. I think the Angel guy gets metal wings.
Oh, and Cyclops has these glasses that help him control his.
Yeah, you're right. They turn off and on, and his without that, his eyes would just be burning everything all the time. Every time you open them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, you've got Gambit, who you were talking about before. He uses not a technology thing though, but he puts power on the cards in order for them to be weapons, which his kinetic abilities aren't sort of just done raw. He adds them to things in order to enhance those things. So he's a simple mechanical kind of properties there, which is interesting. Yeah. So yeah, there are a few that do that. Okay, so we've tackled humans with tech. What would you call those? Heroes with tech.
Yes.
Tech heroes. Oh, I have to include our...
tech heroes, although, are the ones with no powers and only tech. I would say 50-50 heroes. Like they have the natural capacity and then they enhance it.
Heroes enhanced with tech. Did we talk about the one you came up with, which was a disabled heroes? Or did we do that in the video? No, we did it in the video. Okay, so disabled heroes was Tanz's great one that she mentioned. So Xavier, of course, with his can't walk. His all his his energy goes into his head, so he can't walk. So he goes around in a motorized wheelchair. Then we have Daredevil, blind.
And you could argue that Doctor Strange is one as well, because if he didn't use his magic, his hands would tremble.
Yeah, because he's got his smashed hands. So Doctor Strange uses magic to augment himself, which is interesting. So he's a disabled one. What other ones did you... Oh, yeah, Oracle from the DC universe, which used to be a Barbara Gordon, Batwoman.
Oh, and Captain Marvel Jr., like the kid that used crutches and only became like completely without disability when he said Shazam, and he became Captain Marvel Jr. Really? I remember that in watching it Saturday morning.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, he was a kid that went around with crutches and stuff, but he was the leader. He actually was the new Captain Marvel, and he only was able to not use the crutches when he was in his superhero form. So
that's pretty cool. All right. That's an interesting new version. Oh, Cyborg, which is another one you found out. I'm stealing all Tanz's ones here. It's like I'm coming up with them myself, but I'm not. I'm just remembering what we talked about in the Patreon video. So yeah, Cyborg, he's like the $6 million man or the $6 million woman. So his body was smashed and then it was augmented through technology. Good. RoboCop. Actually, Tance, RoboCop. There might have been a RoboCop comic, so we can sort of include RoboCop as a augmented superhero. So yeah, the disabled ones. Oh, muscle type, strength type. So in a kind of simple thing there, if we're just talking about strength, simple strength. Okay. We have the Hulk, of course, who is a the huge exemplar of strength. He's like the prime version when anyone thinks about a strong superhero. But there are others. I think there's also a Hercules, who is all about strength. I think he was a minor Marvel hero. No, a minor DC hero. So, yeah, Hercules. Thor has quite a lot of strength. And Superman, of course, has gigantic strength. So those ones. But that's sub-powers for them. And, of course, Iron Man and other super characters like that. Whereas the Hulk strength is really his only property. So that's interesting. I mean, there's superheroes with only one power, and Hulk is pretty much one of those ones. I think there's the Blob, but he's a villain. Sabretooth, he's a big mutant, but he's got a lot of strength. Oh, Juggernaut, he's a character with a lot of strength, and he's just about strength, but then again, he's another villain. So it's tricky. Yeah.
Well, the affiliation right now doesn't really matter. I mean, good or evil. It's are they superhero tier?
Gods or demons?
Yeah.
Angels or demons? Sorry.
Yeah. Besides, I'm pretty sure, like if we look hard enough, we will find some redeeming storylines for pretty much anyone and everyone. So even for a moment.
Even for what?
Even for a moment, even for a short period of time, they turn good for some reason, and then they go back to being.
And then we get to the sub Hulks, the Hulk family. There's the Red Hulk, the Grey Hulk, the Intelligent Hulk, the She Hulk. So, there's a whole bunch of those ones. She Hulk. Yeah. She's a lawyer too, so she's another strange one, and she doesn't transform.
Okay. Oh, she doesn't transform.
I think she does sometimes, but most of the time she just decided to be She-Hulk all the time because she doesn't go crazy and mad, so there's no point for her to transform back into her normal self. She's just as intelligent as She-Hulk as she is, as a normal person, so she may as well stay a big, strong lady, which she does.
Okay.
So yeah,
I think that the whole Hulk purpose, but okay.
Well, it becomes a different story.
Okay.
I think it started out being like just a female version of the Hulk, but then they, they decided it's a bit silly, and they, gave her own reason for being, which is a much better idea than just doing a female version of a male character.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, She-Hulk, a strength character. So we have strong characters. Oh, I know. Characters with secret identities.
That's a big category. I mean, unless you count the whole Civil War arc, pretty much being a superhero meant that you had a secret identity. Like your superhero side was your secret identity, basically. So.
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, we think about superheroes automatically being characters with secret identities. Like that's just a trait of being a superhero, but it's not necessarily. It's only a trait of a certain group of them. I mean, we have like all those famous Marvel ones, of course, and a lot of the DC ones, like, Batman. his secret identity and Superman as well. For so many of them, their secret identity is like part of the stories. In that, oh, is he over there? Is he there? Are they going to find out my identity? Blah, blah, blah. And that was just something imitated on and on and on. So I suppose the subtype would be superheroes without secret identities. Oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, even the villains have, some of the villains have secret identities. Like they don't manifest in their everyday life. Like when they are not doing the villain super plan.
That Green Goblin is like a super rich guy, and various ones like that. Lex Luthor is Lex Luthor whenever, but initially he's just a businessman. People really don't see him as being a
philanthropist, I think.
Yeah.
And there's also like what's his name? I forget, or whatever.
The one you forget, he's cool.
I'm too lazy to look up now in Google. So.
But yeah, there are so many with secret identities that the ones without would be the subtype.
Mm-hmm.
So now, of course, like you're saying with the whole like Marvel Civil War, they sort of ruined that. I'm not aware enough about the comics. I know the Civil War happened in the comics years ago, and it's only just happened in the film just a few recent years ago. So I really don't know, what's changed in the comic universe.
I would say that, I mean, the Civil War aside, superheroes like, for example, like the Guardians of the Galaxy would not have a secret identity. Like they are who they are.
True. And we missed out him, whoever the Guardian, the main character is. Crap, I can't remember his name. But Star-Lord. Let's just call him Star-Lord. He's just a human. He doesn't have any abilities. He's the son of a planet who's a god or whatever, one of the Eternals, blah, 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 blah. And his mum was, really cool. I don't know, but he's, in the films at least, he's just a normal guy. And he does sort of gain this ability to hold...
I'm not sure if, I don't know, because I haven't read the comics and I haven't seen the movies either. I don't know if Aquaman's identity is secret. I don't know.
Jesus. Aquaman is something that has been going on for decades, and I think maybe at a stage there might have been a secret identity version. But for most of the time, I don't think so.
Yeah. So basically, any superhero that needs to function in the non-super society has a secret identity.
Yeah, from Wonder Woman to the Flash to so many of them, which gives them more ability to have different story stuff about them, whereas a lot of the villains don't. It's rarer for the villains. We did mention a few of the villains that do, but it's rarer for the villains to have secret identities because they just own.
If they need to function in the lawful, like the mainstream, let's say, society, they also have secret identities, and I think that's actually a defining factor because the Joker, for example, doesn't really need to be in mainstream society, so he doesn't need a secret identity.
True.
But what's his name? The Green Lantern guy needs it because he's a CEO or whatever. So yeah.
Is he? One of them was like a fighter pilot. They've always got these glamorous jobs. Although good old Clark Kent, who is a god, has a job as a news reporter. A newspaper reporter in this day and age. Oh my goodness me. I love that.
Be a blogger.
Oh God, no. No, that would be awful. He just does Twitter posts and he's a real wanker.
But it would be the perfect secret identity. I mean, if if he is an internet troll, who is going to believe that he is the Superman?
Troll. Oh, God. Oh,
Professional troll. That's his job.
Citizen journalist running around. Yeah. Little backpack and camera. Oh, dear. Well, yeah, interesting. Okay, military subtype. Let's see, there's a few of those. I think that's very much the Rob Liefeld sort of influence. They had all these kind of like ex-mercenary, ex-special forces, characters with massive guns, Cable and Bishop, I think that was her name. I don't know.
They are basically G.I. Joe.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, what's his name? Deadpool's sort of like a military subtype, even though he's a super healing ability like
I think he's an experiment. Like
he's a mutant, but his ability is with weapons. He's a military kind of a character. That's how because it was created by in that Rob Liefeld like ultra violent era of comics in the 90s, so he's all about guns and action and gung-ho, so that's where he comes from. I'd probably include Deadshot in that military thing because sniping is it's a military thing. So there are a few in that category. Maybe I wouldn't include the Punisher because the Punisher is like the archetypal vigilante. Like he is just he's
also like an anti-hero, but then again, we are not really looking into affiliation today, so.
True. Tank Girl, military superhero. Strontium Dog.
Captain America.
Yeah, Captain America. But he's a weird military superhero because mainly he's just punching and using his shield. But he did originally use lots of guns. That was his thing. Like he was a soldier. He was a captain. He was in the army. Yeah, so he really is Captain America. Proper military superhero. I mean, you could say like the new Captain Marvel because she was meant to be a fighter pilot or something. She doesn't do military stuff to be a superhero. She had a rank and then she became a superhero and she doesn't ever do like the military stuff isn't involved in her superhero-ness, I think.
She flies. She was a pilot and she flies.
Strap a nose cone to her face and a couple of guns under her arms, and she goes, "Yeah, pew pew
there
pew,
you go."
Pew, pew. She drops bombs from her feet onto the enemy.
Oh my god! Yeah,
and she's a fighter plane. Captain Marvel.
I guess you could technically. You could say that Wonder Woman is also a military superhero because she is an Amazon. And they were military, basically.
Yeah, then we're kind of stretching it a bit, aren't we? I mean...
Well, are we though? I mean, she was an ancient military person.
She was also in the military as well, in the modern American military, because she was part of the army in some capability, I think.
Okay, there you go. But even if she weren't, I mean, ancient military still counts as military. So I would say that if she was in this really militaristic all-female unit, she's a military character.
Okay. All right. Wonder Woman and military superhero. I agree. Motion character.
See, argumentation.
The eyes have
there is no superhero whose ability is persuasion. At least not that I know of.
Oh, there are. What was his
Oh, are
name?
there?
Crap. He played a villain, Max something, Max Power, Max Power, probably not Max Power. In the latest Wonder Woman film or something like that, or maybe it was the the Harley Quinn movie. What was that? I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't seen any of those, so.
Or maybe it was the Peacemaker. Who knows? But yeah, his power is persuasion. So
Okay. Oh, okay then. I stand corrected. So there you go.
There is one, and I think there's a evil one whose power is persuasion. Okay, maybe power is persuasion is a subtype because there was this evil character called Kilgrave. I haven't read the comics, but I saw a bit of Jessica Jones, and he is a horrible evil. I couldn't even watch like after episode 3 or something because it's so freaking awful. I hate it. And he has the ability to persuade people to do anything against their will, and it's just horrible. So, yeah, Kilgrave. He is the most evil villain ever, played by the guy who played Doctor Who and other characters. Tennant, David Tennant. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. Jessica Jones. That's. So many people go, oh, Jessica Jones, that's so great. Oh, that's such a great show. Why did they cancel it? Blah, blah. Oh, my God, it's so violent and awful and depressing. I couldn't watch more than a couple episodes. No wonder it got cancelled. Jesus Christ.
I mean, you didn't even hear of it, so.
It stars Jessica Ritter, who's this ultra skinny lady who, is... people like her because of her looks, I suppose. And, I mean, she's a great actor. She's an excellent actor. I loved her in the bitch in Apartment 23, whatever that TV series was. She's great, but yeah. I think maybe they like it because of her. I don't know. Maybe it's a really excellent comic as well because it's one of these comics that is more gritty and violent, and people like that. Is that another subtype? Gritty, violent superheroes? It is. I think that is.
Totally. Totally.
Gritty, violent. Well, in that category, all of the boys, they're gritty. I mean, like secretly gritty, but that's just a super gritty kind of thing. There's Invincible. That's another gritty kind of superhero, but I don't know if the superhero is actually gritty or it's just the portrayal of it that's gritty. Punisher is super gritty.
Yeah, I think anyone whose like original design, like the character design, is driven by grief with a big dose of dramatic emo woe is me vibe
Batman
would be the totally, absolutely.
The Crow.
Yes.
So we do have quite a few in the category. Yeah, the gritty ones, which was, I think the gritty ones became a real fad in the late 90s. Like, I don't know, but I feel that's a bit of a late 90s.
But when was the emo movement? I think around then.
Early 2000s, late 90s, yeah. That's when that really broke away from goth to become its own thing. I mean, I wouldn't even say it's related to goth at all. It's a different thing.
Yeah. I noticed basically because my classes, because I used to teach class those years, shifted to dark and gritty. It's like I noticed.
Yeah, it became just something that was so in with everything and in the zeitgeist, I suppose you'd call it.
Yeah.
The gritty zeitgeist.
Yeah, and serious.
Serious. Although I would say the Crow is more goth than emo.
Yeah, I agree. But it still was appropriated by emo kids.
Yeah, things evolve and change, and it's natural.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got the gritty. I would call them. I won't call them emo superheroes because that has negative connotations. But I'll say
Yeah,
the
okay.
gritty
Yeah,
ones.
yeah, dark and gritty, and possibly gothic.
Possibly gothic. Also, there was that punchy guy in that the Sin City. Can't even remember his freaking name, but yeah, he's included in that group.
Yeah, I mean anyone in Sin City would qualify. I
All
guess.
those characters. Although
Yeah.
you don't know, I think we're not like differentiating between baddies and goodies, but in that,
No,
I don't know the comic that well, but from what I saw of the film, everyone's a baddie.
everyone is an anti-hero for a day, and then probably a villain. So
Yeah, the difference between the goodies and the baddies is preciously thin.
mhm.
What about rich guy superheroes? I mean, we've already covered
But
Batman. Rich
okay.
people.
There are more. I
Mm.
just don't remember like
There's
right now.
there's the guy. What is he? He's got the green mask, and they drive around in a car. The Brown Hornet, or the something. The Green Hornet.
Oh, doesn't ring a
The
bell. I
Green
have
Hornet.
never read that. So.
Well, it was a good film. Well, not a good. It was a fun film with Seth Rogen.
Mhm.
So
Yes, you could say that having like infinite money is a superpower in itself.
it
So,
is just in normal life, but we had
mhm,
like there was in the Watchmen there was this owl
mhm,
guy, and he was like basically their version of the Batman. So he had the magical device, not magic. He had the
mhm.
expensive devices,
Yeah.
but then they
I
had.
guess
I was just going to say they
oh,
also had another character in there called Ozymandias, who
mm.
was he could like foresee everything. Like he was really smart, but he was a millionaire, so he had both those powers. I mean, a billionaire.
One would get the other, I guess, if you can foresee everything.
Yeah.
Just win the lottery every like 20 years. So
True.
um,
Anyway, go on.
you could say that rich superheroes would be immortal characters that aggregate riches. So, for example, in Highlander, the old ones usually are also filthy rich.
Mhm.
Um, so that you could say is part of their superpower roster. Um,
Oh, immortal superheroes. So
mhm,
that's another subtype. Immortals.
yeah.
So immortals,
Um,
they can gain wealth. They can do all
mhm,
sorts of other stuff as well. There aren't many immortal superheroes. There are a few though.
no,
So I don't think Superman's immortal. I think he would age, and
no.
he is invulnerable but not immortal. But say Wonder Woman's the same kind of thing. But say what's his name's the healing ones, um,
Wolverine.
Wolverine and Deadpool.
Yeah, they would be immortal since they heal from everything,
Yeah,
including illness.
I mean I think Wolverine slows down and dies eventually, but he does have quite a lot of immortality for a lot of his life.
He slows down and dies in one version.
Oh right, yeah, fair enough. The old Wolverine version, old man
Yeah.
Wolverine. But yeah, so
um,
yeah, those two
mhm.
ones.
So, like for example, there are again those are I guess mythical beings and not superheroes, but they get the superhero treatment in some movies. So I'm thinking like there are some Korean um, characters like the Goblin. that is this guy that can never die because of a curse, and he is filthy rich
Hmm.
because he has lived for like 5 centuries and gathered all the riches throughout his life. So there's that one. Um,
Thor.
and he has like supernatural power, like magic powers, because he is the goblin. So
Okay.
he can he can um, teleport from one place to another wherever he wants. He can stop time if he wants for a while, and he has super strength and
So you're going into godlike. He would be one of the
yeah,
gods,
godlike
basically.
basically. Except that he has a couple of weaknesses to nerf him when the writers want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically god tier as well. So,
So he's another example of the multi-category superheroes. Can you think
hmm
of any other god ones? Not god ones. Immortals. Do we have? Actually, there's a few. There's like Silver Surfer.
hmm
There's that big planet-eating guy, whatever he's called, Galacticus.
Mm,
There's these Eternal characters who are called Eternals. So that's what they do.
there you go.
They're all immortal. Um,
And I think that all of these guys, even if it's not explicitly said, I think they are basically filthy rich, all of them. I mean, money is not no object for
they
any of these
should
guys.
be. Yeah. If you're immortal, you should be rich, unless you're doing it wrong. So
Yeah.
that's just the basic rule.
Even if you're doing it wrong, whatever personal effect you have from like half a millennia ago is super expensive. So now you can be filthy rich.
And the knowledge you have too. I mean, you should
Yeah.
be smart enough to know. Oh yeah, there's this city over here. Like it used to be there. I can just dig down and find that, and because I used to live there, and find
Yeah.
valuable stuff from where I used to live. So
Exactly.
there's
And
all of
that's
this.
not even playing the system in various ways where that you can outweigh everyone.
Wait, everyone, I like it. So we got the immortals, which yeah, it's an interesting subcategory. I don't
Mhm.
know if Thor is in that group. Actually, I don't think
I
so.
would say he is. I think he's immortal, basically.
But it's tricky because Thor from the mythology isn't immortal. He
Well,
sort of is, and then he's not.
technically, until you have Ragnarok, everyone is immortal,
Yeah,
except the one guy that got killed with the holy wood.
yeah, the pretty guy,
Mm.
Balder or something. Balder the
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
That was him.
And even he comes back after Ragnarok. He's the one that is alive, although he was dead before. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. So
Yeah, it's an interesting story. Yeah, he can't come back until then, I think, because Hell won't let him go. She says, no, no, I'm sorry. I'm not letting him go. Bugger you.
yeah, but technically he's still around. He's just Hell's plaything, basically. So.
Oh, it's just one of her lost souls. She doesn't care. But yeah, then there's the comic version, which is very different. No relationship to the mythology whatsoever in that regard. All right. Well, I think we've covered a whole suite of different superhero types. I wonder if our commenters will offer any more. I hope they will, because it's interesting, and the subcategories and things.
What's your favorite? Let's wrap up with that.
My favorites,
Mm.
Jingies. What would my favorite be? I think they're just the normal human type. Like the whole Judge Dredd
Mhm.
and Tank Girl kind. I think
Mhm.
those are pretty cool. Although that's like cheating the system a bit. So I'll I'll do something that's more kind of superhero based. My favorite else would be... I don't know, let's just go... like the Captain America kind. Like a slightly enhanced human sort of thing. I think that's pretty cool because there's not too much about him that's magical. He just has extra strength. His normal human abilities are enhanced a bit, which is sort of attainable.
And he has like plus 20 charisma or something like that.
Yeah, and he has his shield, which is just a normal device. And that's another thing we didn't like include, like, you know, like the Spider-Man thing. He just uses the shield, which gives him like ability to block punches and block super hits and energy and anything. That's his MacGuffin.
And physics.
Yeah, block reality. So
yeah.
yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. Yeah, so maybe that's my favorite kind, the slightly augmented human. What about you?
The magic ones.
Oh,
the ones that
magic. Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch,
Yes.
Zatanna.
Doctor Strange remains my favorite. So
Yeah, he's got that cool cloak, and he used to be a doctor.
yeah, I mean, what's that? He checks all the boxes for tons. So
Great goatee.
okay, the goatee is not the one that caught my eye, but okay.
He's got the white hair on the sides of his head, which was such a cool 70s.
He has the redemption arc that goes from being basically a butthole to being less of a butthole. So
yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's a bad boy made good. Doctor Strange.
Exactly.
He was a real favorite of the 1970s hippie movements. They loved him, and he was in all there was rock songs written about him because of the way.
Oh, really? Didn't know that.
Yes, because the way he was drawn. Because his when he was going to the multiverse, it was all like lines and this weird kind of angle. It looked like a drug trip, basically.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
all the hippies thought it was.
So
like
for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. So people love it for different reasons, and I think it was drawn by Sterenko. And
Okay.
yeah, he was really good at doing that artwork, and who said it wasn't drug related at all. Anyway, some Doctor Strange trivia that a lot of people know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been Quackcast number 591. I've been Ocean. You've been Tanzarine.
Yes.
We're out.
Yeah.
Goodbye, people.
Bye-bye.